submission that they really struggle getting out of that they want to go over? Out of a Kimura? Perfect. Let's talk Kimuras. So we'll talk about the Kimura situation, right? So if he gets a hold of the Kimura
From side, maybe?
yeah, sure. Alright, so so the big thing for me is where my elbow is in relationship to his elbow, right? So right here he has control of everything, right? If I get my elbow inside his elbow, then the control is gone. Right, so this is my big goal here is I'm trying to get my elbow inside his elbow. All right, so a lot of times once they get this control, where does he have to go to finish? He's got to sit to judo side and he's got to try to step over my head, right? So, so go ahead and sit to judo side, right? So, this is the first play. They sit to judo side to get heavy here, and then they look to step over your head to lift you up to start to finish, right? So my whole thing from this position is I'm going to take this hand and I'm going to thumb post right on his arm here. And my goal is to start working to slide it down to his elbow, right? If I can get it to his elbow, now I can start to bridge and push, and I can pull my elbow inside his elbow. That breaks his grip on my arm, right? So this is going to be the big thing everywhere with my Kimuras is I'm just looking to get my elbow back inside. So I'm here, I push and I turn and I pull my elbow back in, right? So if I can keep this wedged, I can get my elbow inside and I can clear my elbow, right? So now, go roll Kimura on me. Yeah. Alright, so if they hit you with this rolling Kimura and now they're up here, it's the same situation. I'm trying to get my elbow inside his elbow. But in this position, his elbow's connected to the mat. So I'm going to push this elbow. Right? So now I'm pushing here and I'm turning to get my elbow back inside. And if I keep turning, now I have the Kimura, right? So again on that one. So I'm just connecting right to his elbow right away and I'm pushing it out. Right? Now I'm going to circle towards him and I pull my elbow inside his elbow. And I just keep on coming around. Your head from me. Right? So, so this is a good one that you can work because you're just going to flip the Kimura back and forth. Right? So, can you see either of those again?
Yeah.
Sure. Side control one first.
Push it in, I'm like, ooh, yeah, I finally get it on a long arm. Never.
Right. So we're here. So I'm going thumb in that armpit, right? That's where it can slides in. Right? Now I'm bumping and pushing until I slide down to that elbow and get my elbow inside. Right? I've got to get that cleared to get out. Rolling Kimura, I turn, I push this elbow, and I just keep following and turning until I pop out. Right? Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. Now, put me in your half guard, this side. So you gotta attack this arm. So there's also the Kimura when someone has bottom half, right? And they'll grab you this way. Right? So when this occurs, right, things are a little bit different. It doesn't matter. Whatever half guard you want. It's all the same. So, it's all pain and suffering. Right? So for him to really utilize this Kimura, he's got to bring this in. He's got to start shifting his weight, and making his way over, right? So if he can get this shoulder to the mat, I'm going to be in a lot of trouble, right? I'm going for a ride or I'm getting tapped. So my goal is to keep this shoulder off the mat. I do that by, see how my shoulder is lower than his right now? I get it higher than his shoulder. Yeah, keep it, sorry. Right, and now I lean into it. Now try to roll me. Now I circle around it and get a free arm bar.
Mistakes were made.
Right? So we're here, he locks up this Kimura. If I stay low, he's gonna crank this thing, get his shoulder to the mat, and I'm gonna get tapped or roll. Right? So in this case, when he grabs this, I wanna go up and lean into him. And I'm driving him this way, so he can't get his shoulder to the mat. Right? And I just circle around, and we sit, and I have an arm bar. I never had to change any grips. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm just blocking the sun from the car.
So the pressure is the biggest thing. Really play with that, right? So person on bottom, your goal, once you wrap that up, is you're trying to get your shoulder back to the mat so you can, start to hit that Kimura. Top person, you're trying to get that weight so they can't get that turn. So your weight has to be pushing this way because I want to turn it this way, right? So you're blocking the back of the shoulder and you're driving this way so they can't. And then you just circle around. And as you circle, you'll just end up right in an arm bar. Right? Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. One's a detail to make this work better. The second one's a detail where I can actually flip this Kimura too without having to circle all the way around their head. And then when it's live, it just becomes one of those options of, can I slip my elbow? If I can switch it. If I can't, then I just circle to the arm bar. Right? So he's on bottom again. All right, he grabs this arm bar. Right? So again, right here, he's gonna start trying to get his shoulder back to the mat, right? As he does that, I pull my hand to my hip and I pull my elbow to my, into my hip as well. So it's hand to hip, elbow to hip. Now as he tries to get his shoulder to the mat, it's a lot harder, and now I can get and start leaning into him. Right? Right? Now I can start opening his guard. Right here, so keep it, right? If I get my chest, see where my chest is in relation to his elbow? I know you don't, so come over here.
Whoever doesn't know, come look.
Hold of the
See
camera.
how my chest is below his elbow?
It sucks. I can't do anything.
Right? Don't stay there, keep it.
I was trying.
Like you want it, like you really want it, right? So stay on your side, like you're digging for it, right? Yeah, right, so he's here. When he's digging for this, if I get my chest to the other side of his elbow, now I have the Kimura. Right? So this is where a lot of this is gonna depend on how much they really want this control, right? So we get here, hand to hip, elbow to hip. I get my shoulder high and I'm here, right? I open this up past, we're here, right? If he's still really digging for that, see how he's going flat to his back? If he goes there, I'm coming around on bar. If he stays on his side, if he's staying here and he's still digging for it, that's when I have this chance to move my ribs to the other side of his elbow. Now I can pop my elbow through. Now I can make this switch. Right? So it's really how much the person on bottom wants that Kimura. Because they will keep, especially if they keep extending it to try to control you, like that's when I can pop my ribs to the other side. Does that make sense? Kyle, can you do it to me? Alright, so he gets here, I tuck this in, I get on top, we're here. See how he's keeping this control down? So once I get my chest to the other side of his elbow, now I can flip this. And it becomes my Kimura. Right? So it becomes one of those things, as you start to circle, when they have that Kimura, they're either gonna extend or they're gonna pull in. If they extend, I get my chest to the other side of their elbow and I flip it and now it becomes mine. If they pull in, if they're gonna start going this way, then I'm circling to that arm bar again. Does that make sense? All right, so they extend, we flip the Kimura, they pull in, we spin around and take the arm. Right? But right at the beginning when they're attacking, my hand goes to my hip, then I slide my elbow to my hip, and that pulls them up, and now I get on top. And I'm leaning on them this way as I start to pass. Right? And then it's just a matter of if they try to extend me, then my chest comes over. If they try to pull in, then I circle around and sit for that arm bar. Right? Let's do it. 3, 2, 1.